What's up, Middle Georgia Dog Pound? Welcome to another edition of the Middle Georgia Dog Pound Live. I'm your host, Brian, Matt, Kevin. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, buddy?
Good man. Good night.
Doing great, doing great. Always great when you got a G on your chest, man. Always great when you got a G on your chest. Like Kevin's natty shirt he's got back there. Well, we lost him for just a second, but that's okay. Just as I was talking about his shirt, his camera goes out. Would not be the Middle Georgia Dog Pound if we did not have some technical difficulties. That is for sure.
Facts.
But you know what? We're going to make it work. We're going to roll with it, and we're going to have a great time. We're going to get into this Alabama game and bring you up to speed on a few things from the game, and I kind of recount what we saw and get your opinion on what you saw. So speaking of that, let's hit those housekeeping tidbits if we can. As you guys know, if this is your first time on the show, please go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. If you're watching from Facebook and you want to comment, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook to give permission to show your comment and your name and your photo. So I want to know who's commenting on the show. We definitely want to hear your comments, want to hear your opinions on how things transpired during that Georgia-Alabama game. We'd definitely like to hear back from you. And if you want to be on the show or you want to promote a product or your business on the show, hit us up at middlegeorgiadogpound@gmail.com. That's middle G-A dog spelled like it should be, D-A-W-G pound @gmail.com. Well, guys, we got to get into it. We got to talk about it. What was your takeaways from the Georgia game against Alabama? I know everybody was giving me a hard time about picking Alabama to win that game, and I was hoping I was going to be wrong. I was praying I was going to be wrong, especially late in the fourth quarter when we scored that go-ahead touchdown. I was praying I was going to be wrong, but unfortunately, I was not, and we still end up losing by a touchdown in that game. But just so everybody knows, let me just go ahead and put it out there. I know this is breaking news to everybody. Alabama has a player on their team that's 17 years old, and he's supposed to be in high school this year. Just so you know, it is amazing. Absolutely amazing that he's on this team. So, with that being said, let's get into this thing. Let's talk about it. Guys, was our offensive woes in the first half? Is it Bobo? Is our problem with Bobo? Is it execution or is it play calling? What's your thoughts?
So I've been saying it for a while and I'll still stick to it. It is execution. Everybody keeps saying we're not aggressive enough. Well, what did he do? Just to prove all those naysayers and all those armchair quarterbacks, who think they know everything, wrong. He comes out and he's throwing the ball all over the place in the first half, the first series and stuff, and we just once again dropping balls, causing penalties, and all that jazz. And I said it last show, and I hate to say I was right, but you said what are the keys to the game? I said no turnovers and and limit penalties. And what do we do that killed us? Had turnovers and had penalties. I've never seen so many offensive. I don't know what the deal is. These all offensive pass interference. These are getting ridiculous.
Well,
The
one of
refs are
the
terrible.
yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. But I was going to say this one play right here is just absolute piss poor execution. And it's from one of my favorite players, Arian Smith. He misses the call for the audible here, and this led to one of our interceptions. But I think this is the play here. Yeah, right there. And if he catches that audible, I mean, it was a cover zero. Everybody's blitzing. If he gets the audible, then he is off to the races, right? I mean, there's nobody back there. So if you look, four defenders across the field here, no safety. All he has to do is make one man miss, and he's gone. So anyhow, really, really frustrating. Kevin, what's your thoughts, man?
Just reiterate what y'all said. It's just execution is horrible. That whole first quarter. I mean, how do you go down 21 points in the first quarter? It's just awful. They couldn't catch the ball. Beck couldn't pass to save his life, and it just was awful. It looked like we were some backyard school team that had come out there and play in Alabama. We did not look like a team that we were supposed to be the number 2 team in the nation. It sure did not show at all. Just missed plays, missed blocks, missed assignments all over the field. And the thing that is still concerning to me is Beck cannot throw a long ball. Can't do it.
Well, he hit Arian on that long one.
I mean, he had one to win the game, which was a long one, and he underthrew it. And
sometimes you got to underthrow those balls so they don't catch them. But there were several times he threw deep balls downfield in the third, fourth quarter, and the defensive backs just knocked it out of our hands. Those guys were just dropping balls too. So I mean, I agree with you. His accuracy is not how it was last year. That's 100% for sure. I'm not going to dispute that. But there are so many times it's been they're not getting off. They're not getting off the line.
I'm 100% not pinning it all on him. I mean, our receivers did a terrible job of catching the ball, but he has still got to improve his passing ability. And last year I put it off as just lack of play time, but I mean, you've had a whole year of experience. You've had time in the off season to prep to get this stuff fixed, and it's still the same. It's still the same as it was last year when he first started the season. And here we are, he's doing the same things, and he's supposed to be a Heisman contender when this season started. I don't see it.
No.
Sorry. I just don't see it.
It looks a lot like what happened to him in high school, for being honest. So for those out there, so his junior year in high school was world beater, was awesome, right? Then his receivers, his senior receivers, there's 3 or 4, I forget how many there were. They all graduated.
And he looked terrible next year.
His senior year, he had like 1,000 less yards passing. Look, that's why he dropped. Why he didn't get to become a 5-star. He stayed that low 4-star rating because he looked terrible his senior year. So now we're kind of seeing some of this now, maybe. And he's got to learn how to depend on other players. I mean, there are playmakers, and he had these moments, was great, but it's fine. I mean, he's done a ball. But there have been times like that game right there. There were so many balls that I had to go back and watch it. It's like you guys, I told you guys, I turned it off. I was being honest with everybody watching. I turned it off. I left your house, went home, and watched a TV show with my family. I got so mad. Literally, for those who, I literally packed the car up and said, "Girls, get in the car, we're leaving." And we left, and I didn't watch it until like the last few minutes of it. Someone, texted us, "Hey, they're making a comeback." So I turned it back on just for a second to see what happened, and of course, is what happened. It's not a big deal, but I went back and watched it, and he was throwing balls downfield to the receivers, but they were dropping them.
Yeah.
You got defensive back behind them, and somehow the defensive back was able to reach around and get the ball out of their hands. So yeah, there's a good defensive play, which is, you can't
that interception. That interception. That was the worst interception I've ever seen him throw. Right
there.
They
knew exactly where he was throwing the ball. He never looked away from the guy. He never looked away.
Well, he didn't even throw it close to the receiver. He just threw it directly to the linebacker.
I don't know if they ran the wrong route.
Progressions. Yeah. Sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying I don't know if they ran the wrong route or what it was. I mean, he used to get that
and then
ball.
Explain that to me. I wish John Akaki or Bill Krug would get on here and tell me why Carson Beck has a running back mouthpiece in his mouth. Can you explain that?
Yeah.
How can anybody hear the check, an audible, and check out of the current play with a running back mouthpiece? So you mean that you were so unprepared that you came all the way to Alabama and you didn't have your quarterback mouthpiece?
Maybe it's what he likes. Maybe he likes that one better than the other ones. I don't know. I'm just trying to play both sides of it. You just never know. I never noticed his mouthpiece. Does he always have that one? He does do some running. I don't know.
No,
I don't know how the deal is.
That's the first time I've ever seen it in any of the games.
But I mean, once again, he did not allow 28 points straight. He didn't help it with the calls of the interception stuff and the fumble and jack, but he didn't cause the defense to not do a good job. I mean, it just wasn't great. It just was not a good performance all around. But I mean, they made a game out of it, man. You gotta give it to them. Remember that? I mean, was it the I forget what year it was? 2008 year we had the blackout and they came to town and they destroyed us in that first half too. We came back a little bit, but it was not competitive. These guys came all the way back. And I'm telling you right now, Bama better hope they don't play us again. Because they will not get spotted 28 points. They will not have 4 turnovers to help them win the game. I'm telling you right now, they better hope they don't play us again.
Well, how does this loss translate to the rest of the season?
You just hope that they get their minds right and learn and grow and get better. That's what you hope. Now, you're going to see what kind of team they are if they do or do not. That's going to be the telltale. Actually, this week is probably going to be the telltale. If they come out and just absolutely skull stomp Auburn, that's going to tell you where they're at mentally.
Yeah. I think there's going to be 2 different kinds of teams to potentially be. You're going to have the team who wallows and sulks and just feels like their season's over with, even though it's not. Or you're going to have that team that Kevin just talked about, who's just which is what I'm the one I'm excited about. I truly believe they're going to be that next team. It's going to be the team that we've been waiting for, or at least more of the team that we've been waiting for and expecting this year. And I think it's going to be no more of this. Come on, let's be serious all the time. Let's just go knock some folks around, score some points. I think it's going to spring them forward into a better team. I do not see them wallowing. I don't see Kirby allowing them to wallow.
Well, it sure does seem like they play really tight the first half. Yeah. And it's been that way every game we played this year, and I just can't put a finger on why we play so tight the first half. Matt, what does it say about the comeback? What does the comeback say about this team? I mean, the comeback in the second half.
They're fighters, man. I think Kirby said it. I know you got a video coming here soon, and but like it shows that they're not going to give up. And I want a team that doesn't give up, because I gave up, right? I gave up, drove home, completely turned it off, gave it up, and turned. They did not, and it's almost like that. They've had those practices where they'll play against the practice squad, and they'll spot the practice squad a certain amount of points, and they have this quarter to beat the practice squad with the advantage points. It's like that's what they had at practice. It's the same exact kind of standard, and they came back on it. So I'm confident. Like last year, years before, I was always confident. No matter what, if it was third down, we were going to get it. I always believe that. This year I don't have that way, but I do believe they get down, they can come back and win. I truly believe it now.
John Akaki said he thought about a wellness check on you during the first quarter.
He needed it.
Yes. Yes, I did. I didn't throw anything, unlike some people.
Yeah, I threw my hat a couple of times. That is for sure. Akaki says, John, I got rattled early and took a while for him to adjust and settle in. The first haymaker to Smith was in his hands. Say drop. Yeah. Yeah, that changes the whole complexion of the game if we hit that, doesn't it? I mean, the momentum swings in our favor. We start clicking off some good plays there, and we needed that first drive. Definitely needed that first drive. I mean, which kind of surprised me, honestly, that Kirby deferred, but he always defers, and I was so hoping that he would just say, "Hey, we're going to take the ball and let's just drive down the field and punch them in the mouth right away."
Yeah.
But we didn't do that. We deferred and let Alabama do it to us, and it just set the tone for the rest of the night.
I just feel like he had the confidence in the defense to stop him on that first drive. I mean, if
that play right there was ridiculous.
Stupid,
ridiculous. Stupid, ridiculous.
It was just that game where they weren't dropping anything, and they were getting how many defensive pass interferences were that did not get called?
A lot.
It was grabbing, even that down the field a little bit. You passed it a little bit ago where eventually it got called back for a holding. Right? They didn't call the horse collar on our player.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, it was just that kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, and this kind of goes back. I hate to go backwards, but go back to the other question about is it Bobo as execution, as a play calling? The play calling was there because you watched even after the second half, right? They were doing these drives, these long burnout drives, right? We're like, we're all sitting here thinking, man, you got to move the ball. You got to go. We don't have time. That was strategic. They were burning out that defense because they knew that defense didn't, and he trusted offense to be able to move the ball like that and put some drives together to wear that defense down. And you saw it in the very end, those big, huge touchdown plays where we scored 2 touchdowns in a minute because that defense was burnt out.
Yep. That fumble right there was stupid, too. Yeah, there was no excuse for that. He should have dumped that, just threw that ball away.
Yep.
He was outside the tackle box. Just throw it away. Live for the next down. And a veteran quarterback should know better. So there was nothing there.
I give him a pass last year. This year he don't get a pass. That's just stupidity.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. That's just dumb stuff right there.
Yep.
You're not a running quarterback, buddy.
Yep.
Akaki says, I don't think we're as good as advertised. May take half the season of growth to reach our potential. Yeah, I totally agree.
We're
totally agree. Well, guys,
season mark, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Almost.
When's the last time? When can y'all think back? When is the last time Kirby got out coached? Because I can't remember. I mean, was it Auburn? The 2017 season? When we lost at Auburn, got blown out when Gus Malzahn says we kicked the dog crap out of them?
I don't know. It feels like he gets coached every time we play Alabama to me. Except for one.
I would say that. The year, the 2021 SEC championship game, where they scored 42 on us and we looked like crap. We felt so confident about that game. I think we got coached in. I think they just exposed us. I mean, I think it was fuel. It fueled us for the championship game that we won for sure. But I think we got coached in for sure.
Yeah.
Well, one thing is for sure, I was impressed with our coach after the game. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there was a locker room speech that came out on video of Kirby after the game, and I've got it, and I just thought I'd let everybody hear it.
I've never in my life been more proud of guys competing for 60 minutes of the game over and over and over and over. We said in the second half, we got to win more moments than them. 1 moment short. 1 moment short. But I want every one of you to think about how you feel right now. Think about how you feel right now. Okay? Right now, how you feel. Because how you respond to this tells me everything about who you are. But you know what? We better get better. Team on 3. I love every one of you, man. You're fighters. You're fighters. Team on 3. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3. Team.
He's definitely right about one thing. They got to get better. They got to get better. Got a long ways to go, man. And we got some big teams that we're going to face that are just itching to knock us off. So the margin for error is shrunk. And we don't have a whole lot of margin for error if we want to make it to the SEC championship. Now, if we don't care about going to the SEC championship, we probably can lose 2 more games and be just fine and make it into the playoffs. But we can't go any further than that, in my opinion. But well, it is that time of the show that we get to hear from the professor, Mr. Akaki himself, and we're going to let him take it away.
Good day, Middle Georgia Dog Pound. Here we are with the professor. It is Friday. I'm listening to Bill Shank's show in the car, driving home from my orthopedic surgeon. I've got a torn labrum, a torn bicep, and a torn rotary cuff. Imminent surgery coming up. I did not sustain it against Alabama in the game. That was not me on the left side. That was Ernest Green, and he did a great job. But I just want to bring you up to date. The team did get home from Tuscaloosa, be it late and sore. You can imagine the comeback almost came true. We were up by 1, and most of the Alabama fans ran out of toilet paper at that time in the stadium, and things almost unraveled to the point where they were going to be with frowns on their face for many, many weeks coming. I think they got Vanderbilt, and we've got Auburn this week, and I look for a great home game. It's homecoming. Who can lose at homecoming? We're playing a team that doesn't know their mascot. They got 3, the Plainsmen, the War Eagles, and I think the other one is, it escapes me. What is it? It's something, the Plainsman, the War Eagle, and, I don't know. I don't know what the other one is. The Tigers, that's right, they're Tigers. Everybody's a Tiger. I mean, they do that for the females because, females like tigers, I guess. I don't know. But whatever it is, the Dogs will prevail in this classic game in between the hedges in Athens, Georgia. I'm going to be there with Jack Joyner. We're going to take a little bit of time and enjoy it. It's a 3:30 kickoff. Like I told you last week, and I think it almost prophetically came true here, I told you Dylan Bell, ETN, and Colby Young were going to be the keys to success, and we came up short. Colby was not in the right spot, or if he was, he didn't fight for the ball. And we didn't incorporate ETN in the passing game like I had thought we would, and I hope we will the rest of the season. Just hold it together. Everybody probably jumped out of windows in the first quarter. I don't know if we have any casualties on the administrative team for the Middle Georgia Dog Pound players, Matthew Judd and Kevin and Brian Whitehead. I think they all have been spared. Only one had a potential to jump out a window, and I think he captured himself and grabbed himself and realized he's got to keep the wits of himself. So anyway, we're back in Athens. I wish you well. I'm going with the Dogs. I'm picking them at 35-10. I think we explode on the War Eagles. It's their first road game. They had 5 in a row at home, and I think we take them to the cleaners. And anyway, I want my shirts with light starch. Go Dogs, back to the Middle Georgia Dog Pound. Way to go, Dogs. Go Dogs.
Goodness gracious, I tell you. Mr. Khaki, do appreciate you, Professor, for bringing us a little message of encouragement this week after we were feeling so bummed and exposed and downtrodden. Downtrodden. Well, it is that time of the show, folks. We are at the point now where we get to review a few officiating tidbits, and our good friend Paul Petrisco has sent us some really good videos this week. There is one in particular right away that I never knew this rule existed. And I can't wait to show it to you because I want to see what Matt and Kevin have to say about it. So let's roll that intro music, and then we'll get right into this thing.
Our first play this week, we have a punt from the plus 47. Now, the ball bounces right at the goal line, and the kicking team is going to bat the ball back from the end zone into the field of play. A receiver picks up the ball and takes off running. He's going to run out to the 24-yard line. And we have a flag down on the play. And as we go back and take a look at the close-up on the return, we see that there's a face mask foul by the kicking team on the run. So what are the rules pertaining to this play? First, we see that the punt lands in the field of play, so it stays a live ball. Now, if this ball had landed in the end zone untouched by the receivers, it would be dead immediately and a touchback. But since it landed in the field of play, it's still live. We see the kicking team player, number 17, he's going to bat the ball out of the end zone back into the field of play, and two things happen there. This is considered illegal touching by the kicking team because they have touched a punt before it has touched the receiving team. And we see the back judge, he's going to drop his beanbag in the end zone, signifying that spot. And this illegal touching, it's a violation that gives the receivers the option of taking the ball at this illegal touching spot after the down. And since this illegal touching spot is in the end zone, it would be a touchback and go out to the 20. But the ball is still live, so number 28 picks up the ball and he starts to advance. And this is a low-risk move because if he's tackled short of the 20 or he fumbles and loses the ball, his team has the option to take the ball at the illegal touching spot, which would be the touchback in the 20. But he got it out to the 24, so a positive play, and the face mask penalty will be added 15 yards to the end of the run, so the receiving team will take over 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. This is a heads-up play, and you can tell the receiver has...
I have never, ever seen that. What's your thoughts on that, guys?
That's a new one on me.
I
always thought that they could hit. I mean, once it hit the ground, in the end zone, they could bump it back in the field of play. But I know that was it NFL, where once it crosses the line, it's in the end zone. I thought it hit in the field of play, and then when you could knock it back long before it hit the ground. But I didn't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen that. I always thought it was down wherever the offense, the kicking team touched the ball. So that's a new one to me.
Play 2, we see the quarterback, he fakes, and then he's going to run a down-the-line option. And the ball is out in front of the pitch man, and as 15 tries to recover the ball, he's just going to bat it out of bounds. Now, we're going to get a flag down for illegally batting the ball, which is a 10-yard penalty that includes a loss of down. Now, by rule, it is a foul for batting if the ball is batted forward in the field of play or in any direction in the end zone. And this is a judgment call that's made on the field, and it's not reviewable by replay. This is a very tight play, but to be a foul, we want the batting to be clearly forward, and this batting seems lateral at best, and this is not what we want as a foul.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to the kicking the ball thing that we went over a couple weeks ago, right? With Paul. So I thought that was a good one. All right, one more.
Play 4, it's late in the second quarter. The offense has 4th and 5, and they're going to line up to attempt a field goal. Now, the kick is going to be blocked. there's a scramble for the ball, but since the ball is behind the line and it never crossed the neutral zone, it will be the defense's ball regardless of who recovers. Now, there's a flag down on the play, and as we go back and take a look at the replay, we see that during live ball action, number 27, he's going to come off the bench and out onto the field of play. And by rule, no player may enter the field of play while the ball is alive. And we also know you can't play with 12 on the field. So this is a substitution foul against the defense. And the penalty for this foul is 5 yards from the previous spot. And since it was 4th and 5, the penalty gives the offense a 1st and 10. Play 5, we have a punting situation. The kicker sends the ball toward the near side boundary. Number 1 comes over. The ball's going to bounce between his legs, and then ultimately number 2 of the receiving team tries to recover, touches the ball, and then the kicking team is going to recover. And as we go back and take a look to see if number 1 touched the ball, it appears from our views that number 1 did not touch the kick. But because number 2 of the receiving team did touch the kick first, that makes all players eligible to recover, and the kicking team does recover, and they get to keep the ball. Now, one interesting point of note here, if the ball would have touched number 1's towel hanging down, then that player would have been deemed to have touched the ball. So if you're wearing it, then it is a part of you in determining touching of the ball. And that would include dangling mouthpieces, long belts, or any other attachments on the uniform.
Learn something new every day. Thank you, Paul, for sending those videos to us. We sure do appreciate it. Such a good piece of this show each and every week, and we do thank you for contributing to our show that way. And we learned something new here only on the Middle Georgia Dog Pounder. You're going to get that. So thank you, Paul. All right, guys, it is that time. Krug's Crunches. Let's run that foot, roll those crunches.
Braden Locke. Gonna flare it out. Oh, man. Another play by Kamari Ramsey. He's had 2 huge ones in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think that might have been a misread that time by Braden Locke, thinking it was man-to-man when it was zone. The corner's sitting there, almost like Miller Moss got that pass picked off for a pick six.
With a pick 6 from Kip Lewis that gave them the lead moments ago. Here it is, 4th and 11. Peyton Thorne back to pass, pressured, extends the play. Chased down and absolutely blasted. Blown up by our Mason Thomas again. Back-to-back plays by our Mason Thomas. First on the left tackle, this time on the right tackle. The speed never gave Peyton Thorne.
Just got it away. Moss. Down the middle.
Oh man. Because I think it's Hunter Wohler, number 24, that lays the lumber. And he got it with his shoulder.
I think he did.
Yes, that was a clean hit.
Fans don't like it, but it's shoulder to shoulder.
That was a clean hit.
Jacoby's lid comes off, but he somehow holds on.
It was a little high, though. He's defenseless, and it was close.
3 for 4 on 3rd down, but a 3rd and 21 is a different animal. Pressure up the middle. Sanders throws. It is caught, and then a big hit over the middle. Absolute stick level by Brian Threats after a pickup of 15.
Yeah, that's the one thing about these receivers. They are really dynamic, but they're 106
field. Jenkins to pass. Oh, he got blasted in the backfield. Another fumble here. Oh, what a hit delivered. It's La Tech football. It was Sifa Leota unimpeded to the backfield.
Yeah, the redshirt junior almost unprotected right up the middle. My goodness, what a hit it was. First forced fumble of his career, 2nd sack. And he did so with no issues.
Opponent in a short week. Kind of felt some confidence after last week. Look out. My goodness.
How about that? Nicholas Battiato is hit hard, and the ball pops out. Memphis recovers it. Kobe Minor.
They need 7 here. Shot, corner blitz, got there! Benjamin Morrison! And now they go the other way!
You don't think the officials make a big difference in the ball game? Let's hear the call.
Review, the quarterback's hand was moving forward with possession of the football. Therefore, it is an incomplete pass. It'll be 4th down and 7, 39-yard line.
They'll be at Wake Forest, and then back here at home against Virginia. Tigers will take it out of the end zone. And a big hit at the 20.
3rd and 8. Hawkins scrambling, extending, now tucking, looking to run. He took a big hit. Converging there were Jared Thompson and DeMarcus Riddick.
And he got it away. Fielded at the 42. Henry, oh, what a hit he took on the special teams. Wow, there's been some hitting going on here. But he held on to it. A good field position.
That was the 5th defensive pass interference on Purdue. Amir Johnson, and Johnson is stuffed. Yanni Karlaftis still a little upset about the prior call and letting Nebraska feel it.
Bastula punts. Kent is hit immediately and the ball's out.
Well, 6 on the game, including his touchdown. Montez Johnson in the last drive. Gabriel back over the middle for Ferguson, and it's batted away. One that Brian Addison will keep for a while against his former team.
Have his guys back. We'll see the collision from Addison coming from the backside. He's looking to make a play on the ball. That's not dirty of any kind.
Thorne. Oh, there's the blitz, and they bring him down. It was Robert Spears Jennings just darting in like a rock.
I hope we see a lot of that right there, guys. I hope we see a lot of that this week. We sure do need to see it. I want to see number 11 in that backfield every freaking play, just like that. Those were some great ones. There was a lot this week. Sorry those videos were a little bit long, but they were good ones, man. I could not. You sit there and watch them, you're like, which ones do I put on here? These are all great. Oh, so anyway, lots of fun. Well, guys, we are at that point. It is Auburn week, and we've got to talk about it. We got to get it going. But the first thing that we got to do is roll that hype video.
Time has a way of testing everything. Seasons change, faces come and go, but some things, they stand the test of time. Since 1892, we've taken the field, a tradition passed down from generation to generation. From legends who have laid the foundation to the players who carry the way today. Through every victory, every loss, and every fight in between, one thing remains: tradition. Born from the heart of Georgia, sustained by an unbreakable bond. It is in every cheer, every fall, every Saturday. Through the years, traditions evolve, but the heart of Georgia, it beats stronger than ever. We just don't play the game, we honor the tradition. Because at Georgia, tradition doesn't fade with time. It only grows stronger. This is Georgia. This is tradition. We're not just honoring the past. We're building the future. Glory, glory to old Georgia.
Man, I sure do love those videos. The folks that do those things are so talented, man. I don't think I could ever come up with that, but dang, it sure is fitting though for homecoming, right? And I feel like that we do a pretty good job of honoring the folks that played before, the former Dogs, and give them their credit, because we wouldn't be where we are without them. And so I do appreciate our former players and laying the foundation for what we're getting to enjoy right now. That is for sure. Well, Matt, buddy, it is your show, my friend. You take this thing and roll with it, dude. Well, actually, I take that back. It is we got to go over the mascot, and that's right. I'm about to drop the ball here. So Auburn, as Mr. Akaki, the professor, was reminding us, that Auburn can't decide what their mascot is going to be. It's going to be the plain, what do I call them? The plain kitty war tigers, or the plain war kitties is what I call them. So anyhow, they don't know where they are. Plainsmen, War Eagles, Tigers, whatever they are. This is Aubrey the Tiger. That is their mascot. And their head coach is Hugh Freeze. And I think it's just fitting that Mr. Matt has a photo of him in his Ole Miss jacket there. So that's just absolutely hilarious. So he, as everyone knows, Mr. Freeze is the sore thumb of the SEC. How he got back to the SEC, I'll never know, but here he is nonetheless. And he had his stint at Ole Miss, went to Liberty for a while, repented, and is now back at Auburn. And they are having a rough time this year. But Matt's going to break us in on the offensive players and bring us up to speed on what we need to be looking out for the Auburn offense. So, Matt, take it away, buddy.
Hey, everybody. So this is actually going to be pretty short and simple today. I know it's usually pretty long-winded when it comes to these players, but we're going to go through. I think I'll be the first one to say I really was expecting better production from this Auburn offense this year. With last year's woes, thought they would get things figured out, bringing in better talent on the wide receiver group. We see better play because it was so bad last year from their quarterback Thorne. But it seems to continue to be the same kind of issues they are still dealing with. But we're going to go through it. So I'm not going to give a bunch of highlights to it, because really, to me, there are only three playmakers we really need to keep an eye on come tomorrow afternoon. So we start with a quarterback here. So we got our quarterback, Mr. Thorne, and the running back, Mr. Hunter. So Thorne has not been great. He has these opportunities where he has like some great times where he'll throw a ball and you're like, man, that's the guy we're looking for. Then he has a time where he throws a great ball to the defense. So I don't know who we're going to see. The one thing we do need to be concerned with, we saw it last year, is his running ability. And we know from last week's game, we continue to still struggle on the outside, setting the outside when it comes to quarterback running. Milroe destroyed us. We had times where Vandergriff was getting us, and so we have to set that edge. We have to and keep them contained in that and make him pass the ball. I think if we do, like Brian said, I think we're going to get some sacks, and also we're going to get some bad throws, maybe opportunities to get some turnovers, because we really haven't produced a ton of turnovers this year from this defense. Now they have definitely been suffocating until last week, but let's just hope our defense is just a blip of the radar, and then they get back to their crushing waves moving forward. But yes, Hunter is definitely their one of their main weapons. He's a solid running back. He runs hard. He catches well in the backfield. He is going to see a lot of playing time. He's a good, hard-nosed runner. He doesn't matter what the score is. This guy is going to play with all his heart. So I do respect his efforts and what he puts in there, and he is going to be someone to definitely keep an eye on as you walk out. If you watch this game unfold tomorrow. As we get to our receiving core, I picked these three guys up here. One's a tight end. We saw a tight end last year a little bit, so he's pretty good. But the main one you need to be focused on is Lambert Smith. This is their key playmaker when it comes to the wide receivers. He has the most yards. He's got by far the most touchdowns. I mean, he's got the most receptions. This guy is a playmaker, and he has made some phenomenal catches this year that we don't get to see a lot of, because they're not winning a lot. We get a lot of what we see from the Alabama wide receiver But this guy, he is good. He is really good. He is solid. So you're going to see a lot of balls go his way. We need to get on him and stick him and make him feel uncomfortable. But these are the two main guys that I believe are going to be their biggest opportunities against us. Is this wide receiver, Smith and Hunter. But we just don't know what we're going to get from the quarterback position and how he's going to do. Now he could ball out and have his greatest game of his career. I hope it doesn't happen because we've seen it too many times. We've seen bad quarterbacks play great with us. But if we contain his running game and make him pass this ball, all we got to do is take down this guy, and I think we'll be okay. And that's the main thing I have for the offense. Not a whole lot, not super impressive. They've had their woes. They've had some great times where they looked, really good. They looked super impressive. And then there's times they're going to play Cal, and they played last week against Texas. I'm sorry, it was Texas. It was Oklahoma. They just struggle sometimes. They can't get over that hump. So we know how that feels. So I think it'll be a good game. I think they're going to try to keep the ball on the ground a lot and see if they can beat us on the outside like Alabama did. So it should be very interesting. But those are my key players to the game.
All right. Well, I guess I'm going to jump into this defense. As like Matt, I am going to try to keep this very simple. There was only really 3 players that I could find that I really wanted to highlight overall, and these are them. I pulled one from the D line, the linebackers, and the DBs. These guys, if you go back and you watch the game from last week, Auburn controlled the time of possession, which if you control the time of possession, you should win. They did not win. It was absurd. I'm trying to find the time. 5 minutes, and then Oklahoma had it for 24 and a half. So with that, it's crazy that this defense is so inept to just let teams score on them over and over. With that being said, this is the number 50th ranked defense. They're allowing an average of 329 yards per game. First off, we're going to highlight the defensive lineman, Keldrick Falk. He comes in with 13 solo tackles, 3 sacks. He is out of Alabama. He's a sophomore. This is going to be actually a test for our offensive line that's injured. This is probably one of their best playmakers on the defensive line. He is quick. He's shifty. He's going to try to make it hard to block him. And we're going to see what this banged up offensive line can do with keeping him out of the backfield and interrupting our run game, interrupting our pass game. He's going to see if he can get back to throw some more interceptions like he did last week. Then secondly, Dorian Mousey Jr. He's a linebacker, senior, out of Detroit, Michigan. He has 16 solo tackles, 1 sack. He was actually started. He's a 2-year starter for Duke. Then he went into the transfer portal, and Auburn picked him up. He was the 38th ranked linebacker in the transfer portal last year. So this kid is he's a legitimate linebacker. He does a good job of reading the quarterback's motions. So Beck is still lingering with his eyes and not looking away and leading. He's just leading these defenders with his eyes. He's going to create issues throughout the middle of the field there. Thirdly is Jaron Thompson. He's a senior out of Texas. He leads the team in tackles. He's set 24 overall, 20 solo, 1 interception, and 2 passes deflected. This kid is an impact player in deep in the backfield. He's going to make he's quick to the ball, quick to wherever the quarterback is going. He's quick to where the running backs are leading. You're going to see this guy all over the field. So you look for number one to make an impact in that deep pass game. With that, that's about all I've got on the defense.
Thanks, buddy, man. We have definitely got to bring it this week, guys. We have to bring it, and we got to turn right the ship. Hit that rudder hard and get it going at 180 degrees, and we got to get going in the right direction, and we got to get going fast because it only gets harder from here, in my opinion. And if we want to make a run in the playoffs, we've got to improve big time. And it starts with Auburn at home on homecoming. So appreciate you guys getting us up to speed, but it's that time of the show where we start talking about our pick'ems. So far, I am 16-9 on our pick'em challenge. Kevin and Matt, 13-12. They're tied. But this could be the week that Matt or Kevin jump ahead. This could be the week. So for our first pick'em game, we're gonna go with Texas A&M and Missouri. Texas A&M and Missouri. Give us, folks, if you're out there listening, you hadn't fallen asleep so far. We try to keep it light and fun, lighthearted and fun. Give us your predictions. Jump on here, comment. We want to hear from you. Who are you taking between Texas A&M and Missouri, Matt?
I'm going Missouri. I don't think Missouri's as good as we thought they were going to be. They did have somewhat of a soft schedule this season, but their defense is going to not be as good as they were last year. But I think they'll still have enough firepower to take down Texas A&M. I do worry Texas A&M is playing better over the last few games with that new quarterback that they have, but I think Missouri will have enough scoring to outlast the Aggies.
I agree wholeheartedly. I'm going Mizzou on that one as well. Dad's going Missouri 34-24. Grady Darcy's going 38-24. Richard Fields is going 31-20. I like all of those. Kevin, what's your thoughts?
I think this is a Texas A&M team that's just struggling, trying to figure out who they are this season, this new head coach. Yes, Missouri is not exactly what we thought they were going to be, but they are still a good football team. I think Missouri wins this one big, 38-17.
Wow. Hunter Ivy went against the grain here. He said Aggies 27-21. Wow. Good deal. All right, next game, SMU at Louisville. Louisville is a 6.5-point favorite based off of ESPN when I pulled it up tonight. So this was a hard one for me. I picked against Louisville when we were playing. I think we were playing Tech. Is that who they were playing when I picked against them? Anyhow, I am not going to pick against Louisville. I'm going Louisville all the way on this one. I think Louisville wins 28-14. Matt and Kevin cannot decide what they want to do.
This one, I'm going to go different than you, buddy. I am not picking against SMU. SMU is on a roll. They just got it clicking. They come down and they beat Florida State 42-16. I know that's not anything really impressive this year, but it is big for them. They went toe-to-toe with BYU, lost by 3. They went and played TCU in their stadium and won that one big, 66-42. I am going with SMU, and I'm going to go 48-32.
Matt?
So for me, I want SMU to win this game. I kind of like the underdog story piece of it. But last time and that's what I'm saying, last time I picked Louisville to win a game, they lost it. And it made me mad. So they're unbalanced team. But I think I'm going to stick with Louisville and see if they can pull this one out, because I need the wins. I want to pick like Kevin and go against the grain so I can get ahead. But I just have to pick what I think actually is going to win. So I'm going to go Louisville as well.
I like it. Grady Darcy says SMU 28-27. Richard Fields says Louisville 30-17. Akaki says Missouri 24-21. Somehow Missouri, we're back on the Missouri game there. Hunter Ivy says SMU 45-28, and Dad says SMU 27-17. Wow, maybe I made a mistake. Akaki says SMU 31-21. The professor coming in late there, dropping the bomb there, and everybody's rolling with SMU. Maybe I made a mistake. All right, Duke and Georgia Tech. I'm going with the Bees, the worthless maggots. Going with the Bees on this one. I don't think Duke is worth a dang, and I think Georgia Tech will be fine with this one. They're favored by 9.5 at home, so that should be an easy win for Tech. Kevin?
I am also going with Georgia Tech. I do not think Duke is going to be any kind of competition for them. They have struggled this year with everybody they've played except for Middle Tennessee. I think Georgia Tech goes in and handles them mightily. I got them 38-21.
I like it. Matt?
I'll pick the Nats as well. I'm picking the Nats. That's all I got to say.
Gotcha. I like it. Richard Field says Tech 31-14. Grady Darcy says the Tech Nerds 30, Duke 21. Dad says Tech 34-20. Hunter Ivy says our little brother wins 31-17. I like it. All right. This is one where I was not sure. I'm still not sure. So I'm going to let my compadres go first on this one.
No, you already told me. You told me off.
All right. So you just.
I'm joking.
No, it's fine. I'll tell everybody what I told you. Let me go back here. Akaki finally gave us his prediction here. Akaki says the engineers God help us 35-17. All right. I like it. All right. So here's what I told everybody. I hate the Gators so bad, y'all. Y'all just don't even know. The only thing that's good that came out of Florida, in my opinion, is the white beaches over near Destin and Tim Tebow. That is the only two things that came out of Florida that was worth a dang. And because of that, it could be the Florida Gators against the Sisters of the Poor, and I'm choosing the Sisters of the Poor. So I'm going with UCF. Dadgummit. I am not choosing the Gators.
Well, I got to agree with you, buddy. I am also going to go with UCF. The Gators have struggled. They have not shown me that they are a team that's worth a flip, but I think it's still going to be a battle. I think it's going to be a close game. But I've got UCF winning in a tight one. It's probably going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to say 27-21.
I like it. Matt, what you think, buddy?
So my question is Gus Malzahn auditioning for his next job?
Could be. I don't think Florida would hire him.
He beat him enough times, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I'm just curious. I mean, he's got that recruiting trail. He's got SEC, years. I'm just curious. And this is an audition for a new job. So, I every time I pick Florida, they lose. So I'm picking Florida because I want them to lose.
Dang.
So I'm willing to sacrifice. I'm going to sacrifice.
You're going to fall on the sword. Yeah.
I'm falling on the sword because literally every time I pick Florida, they lose every time.
You are falling on the UCF Knight sword.
That's right. I'm falling on the sword for the team. You're welcome. But if I also get lucky and come out a win, it gets me one ahead of you. So, because me and you got too many that are close together. So, I'm going to go with Florida winning out this game. I think it'll be closer than it should be, though.
I like it. Grady Darcy says, give Knights 41-35. Like it. Dad says UCF 31-24. Richard Fields says UCF 34, the George 21. I like that. UCF as Seminoles out of horse feed. Gus's boys 31-30. Hunter Ivy says UCF 27-17. And Akaki says UCF also beats Florida Gators 31-28. Like it. All right, guys. It's the game of the week. The game of the week. What's your thoughts on this one? I mean, I'm picking the Dogs, of course. I will not
pick them last week.
Are you sure?
That's why I made him in a pick 'em.
Yeah.
I made him part of the pick 'em because you never know.
Geez, man.
With you, Brian.
Never know what you're gonna do when that G pops up there on the screen.
You know,
I mean, you gotta pick them, win or lose, man. You can't just go, oh, they're gonna lose, and I'm gonna pick. No, that's not how it goes, man.
What's the spread?
If you bleed red
22.
and black, man, you gotta pick them.
22.
So I'll go.
Go ahead.
So I'll go. So I talked about earlier in the show, there would be two different kind of teams that we could see this game. Are they going to be the ones who sulk and the loss, or are they going to be ones who step up and become a completely different, a completely put together team who plays out of passion for each other and understands that they honestly can win any game no matter how bad the deficit is or how bad they play, they can still win games, which is what we're seeing. We saw it last year, even how they played terrible games. I mean, we saw early on, they were playing terrible and they still won. I think the same thing is I think this time we're going to take the step forward. I think we're going to see a much improved team. I say focus, not as in like serious focus, but they're going to be more crisp, more sharp. They're going to be up to this here. It's going to be homecoming. They've played one game at home in September. They are finally coming home. They're going to play the majority of the rest of their games, pretty much besides the big games, are all at home. They're going to be excited. They're going to have that energy from the crowd. They are looking forward to this game. And I'm saying 42-17.
I love it. I love it. Kevin?
I am in agreement with Matt. This is going to be a team that is pissed off. They've coming back to Athens, and they want a reckoning. And Auburn is got to pay that price. They're coming in there. I don't think any of the starters come out, no matter what the score ends up being. I think they play the entire 60 minutes. They do not get a break. I've got Georgia coming in to their home turf against these War Eagle, Tiger, Plainsman things and skull stomping them 52-10.
I like it. I sure hope we break 50. I think we're gonna cover the spread. I don't know that we're gonna get to 50. I'm gonna go 42. No, I don't know. 40. I don't know if I want to go to 40. I'm gonna go 35-10. 35-10. And I hope that we score more than that. 35-10. I don't think the Dogs give up more than 10. And we walk out of there with our heads held high. Dad says 41-17. Richard Fields says 41-17. Wow. How about those? Khaki says 35-10. Well, look at there.
Mm-hmm.
Grady Darcy says 49-12. Plainsman, Tigers, War Chickens. I like it. Dogs leave 31-3 in the first half. Now that's a prediction. Now,
wow,
that is a prediction. I like that. Johnny Kaki wants to know if Kevin is in first yet on the pick'ems. No,
not yet, buddy. But
he may need time. He may need some extra tutoring.
No.
Hunter Ivy says dogs 45-9. I like those. Those are all good. All good. All right, guys.
In Alabama last week, they may have some officials in their back pocket. That's how he's winning.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. All right, keys to the game, guys. What's your thoughts?
No turnovers.
No turnovers. I like it. Matt?
Control the line of scrimmage.
I think you play like it nothing to lose. Because that night, I think you can't play tight. I think you got to go out there and play like there's nothing to lose. I mean,
totally
lose.
agree.
I think you can't lose more than 2 games in the playoff, depending on who else around you loses. And so, but you can't depend that we can lose one more game. They act like they cannot lose any more games.
Oh, I agree.
They have to play with their hair on fire every game moving forward. I don't care if it's UMass. We play. They have to play with their hair on fire moving forward.
I
Go
totally
all out.
agree.
I mean, that's the thing about Stetson that people hated and loved. He was a gunslinger. He would make some huge errors. And right now, Beck did that. He played a terrible, worst we've seen quarterback play at UJ in years.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen some terrible quarterback play. But
Yes,
he
we
came back, and that joker almost pulled a Stetson off. Did he not?
Yeah.
Stetson never had to come back from 28 down.
No.
He came back from 17 one time, a couple times, but 28 down, and that guy, him hitting his head, he was on fire. I'm telling you, he's going to get his stuff straight. He's going to get it straight.
It's over 400 yards passing, wasn't it?
Yep.
I can't remember the time that a Georgia quarterback threw over 400 yards and still lost the game.
Yeah. Well, he had to because they were so far behind. So, there was a lot of passes that had to happen.
Yep. Dylan Bell goes over 100 yards receiving. Runner backs go over 150. I like that. Grady, I like that a lot. Yeah, for me, guys, I just want to see who our offensive leader is. Who's going to emerge? Is it going to be ETN? Is he going to emerge as the leader of this offense? Is it going to be Dylan Bell? Is it going to be Colby Young? Are we ever going to throw the ball in the right spot to Colby Young instead of throwing it at his face, instead of throwing it up at that 7'5" mark where he should be at catching the ball, where nobody else can get to it? I really want to see our tight ends show up, because we haven't seen good tight end play this year either. And all the hype with the transfer from Stanford, Urasek, and we've seen nothing out of him. It's been complete embarrassment. So, yeah, who's going to step up this game? I want to see some leadership and some playmakers make their mark this week and give us an idea of what this offense is going forward. We know what the defense is. We know who the playmakers are there. But we got to, on the defensive side, we got to see a better play from Malachi Starks. I think he's had 2 of his worst games that I've ever seen Malachi Starks play, and they were against Alabama and Kentucky. So we can't have that happen going forward. So, but yeah, Kaki says Beck may be too low keyed. I totally agree. He probably needs to get out of those Lamborghinis, quit driving around. I think he's spending all of his mojo in those cars. So Grady Darcy says Lucky has been good so far. Yep, totally agree. He may emerge as our tight end 1. That is for sure. All right, guys. Well, one more comment. Akaki says reminds me of Matt Olson and the Braves. All right, guys. Well, it is that time. We got to sign off here. We are finally back in Sanford Stadium, between the hedges. Dooley Field at Sanford Stadium. It's going to be a great Saturday for football. I am so looking forward to it. We will be back on next week, and we will be recapping a big game of the beatdown of the War Chickens, and we will bring it all back here to you. I'm Brian, I'm Matt, Kevin. Love you guys. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.